Listen, it does not take a lot to get me in the holiday spirit, and this year I feel like I have even more holiday spirit even a little bit earlier. So let's make a fun bullet journal spread that's a little bit moody with that navy blue paper, but also that reflects the true meaning of Christmas. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Becca. I'm a full-time elementary music teacher and side hustler extraordinaire, and here on this channel we talk all about how to balance those two things, which requires a lot of planning. So I like to do my planning in my bullet journal. Here's my November setup. You can see I'm really into the navy blue backgrounds right now. This bullet journal is from the brand Primrosia, and it is from Amazon. It was something random that I purchased last year. And this setup is based on that painting that I did right there in my sketchbook. I love this bullet journal. It does have watercolor pages, which I have been absolutely loving, and I love it so much I actually bought the same one with a different cover for next year, so we'll be doing it year number 2. And this spread is actually going to go all the way to the very, very end of my bullet journal. When we get to the end, we will literally have used every single page in the whole bullet journal. I have never done that before, so I'm really excited. Anyway, we're gonna start with this navy blue paper on each page. Now, a couple of little things. First of all, this is regular paper. I thought it was cardstock. It was something I already had in my drawer though. I wasn't gonna go buy new paper, but if you saw my November setup, I painted the backgrounds blue in November for my November pumpkin-y situation, and it just didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. So here I was like, you know what, we're just gonna use paper, and that way it's a nice consistent situation. Now I am using paint on this. This is super cheap acrylic paint. It is not super nice, and my painting is not super detailed or anything crazy. I'm just using really cheap paper, really cheap paint, because this isn't my bullet journal and it's really just for me. So I just want to enjoy it and have some fun. I do feel the need though to tell you that I do actually know how to paint. So to prove it, here's a couple pictures that I painted recently. I'm very into the acrylic, and I do prefer to paint mostly, fun summery things. So this was a little out of my wheelhouse, but I painted this scene in my sketchbook the other day, and I just really liked it. And I was like, you know what, we're gonna go for it here. Now, I do realize that I am painting a manger scene, and you may not be a Christian, so if you're not into that, listen, you can still get something out of this, and we'll show kind of other things. There's just the one manger, so other things will happen later. Anyway, what I found with this is, since this paper is super cheap, it was really helpful and necessary to not use a ton of water on this. And you'll see later there's a spot where I used a little bit too much water and it kind of warped a little bit. But if you don't use too much water and you're just, keeping things real simple, then we're doing pretty well. Like I said, I want to keep this super simple, so it's mostly big block shapes. I just have the what's a hexagon in the back that I painted almost black, and then brown for the bottom, and then I kind of mix the brown and the white together to get the outsides and top of the manger. Now, along to go with the paints that I was using, I wanted to try out some of these paint markers that I just got. This is from the same brand that made my bullet journal, and I just got them in the mail. I will link them down below, although I think this set was on a final sale situation, so I'll link similar ones below. But I really liked them. This was the first time I used them, so I wanted to see what they looked like on the background, and I used them for just a couple of the finer detailed points and really liked them. I also have these Sharpie paint pen markers. I don't know what they're called. I think they're called artist markers or something. They're lovely and wonderful, and I highly recommend. They're so fun. I'm not sure what they're made out of, but they're really cool. So definitely recommend those. After the background had dried a little bit, which didn't take too long since we are using this really thin paper and not too much water, I did just some little shapes to kind of suggest Mary and Joseph here at the manger scene. If you are not, into all of this, and this isn't kind of the vibe you're wanting to go with, you could do something similar with a little town scene, or you could do a little gingerbread house, or something along those lines would be, kind of same but different. But really, you don't have to have any painting talent to make this happen. It's mostly just shapes, which I like. So I made Joseph's like headdress situation brown, Mary's blue, and I kind of made it look like she's, you know, bending over and praying a little bit. And anywhere that just needed a little bit extra, just go over twice, and that'll do most of what you need. And then I added a whole bunch of little sheepies because I just thought they were so cute. And, you know, really get into the spirit of where Jesus was born. I also, you can see I put some like right on that little corner there because it just felt like that edge situation wasn't really good, and so that's where those are. Sheep are actually really easy because they're just like little poofs, and then I used my little Sharpie marker thing to add the legs and head. I use those Primrosea markers to add some details, specifically to add some little like hay in the manger, and then to kind of touch up the roof of, or the, yeah, roof of the stable to just make it a little bit more interesting. My quote, which is actually from The Grinch, and it says, "What if Christmas perhaps means a little bit more?" Now, it probably would have made more sense to use like a Bible quote, but this was the quote that just kept, you know, sticking out in my head, and this was the scene that I wanted to do. And again, it's my bullet journal, so I get to do what I want. And now we're getting into what I feel like really makes this whole theme, which is the stars. I'm doing these stars on every page, and I just love them. Basically, it's like a cross, so to make them like that Christmas star look, you want the bottom part to be longer than the top part. So kind of like a cross or like a T, with the bottom part being a little bit longer, and then like an X over top of it a little bit smaller. And then just kind of repeating that all throughout, making different sizes and different shapes, but kind of keeping the same shape of it, just different sizes, and putting them around. And I also find, you know, if you add odd numbers of things, they tend to look better. So you can see I have 5 white ones there, and now I'm adding some with my gold paint, which again, this is all just like super cheap craft paint. I did not use my nice stuff on here. And for that big one in the middle, I kind of like mixed the white and the gold and kind of went back and forth with the 2 different ones just to make it interesting. Then I added a bunch of water to my paintbrush and added some paint, and it makes it really liquidy, and you can get those little stars when you hit the paintbrush, and it looks really, really fun. So we're doing the stars and the little spots on pretty much every page here. Now on the second one, I went ahead and put the paper down before I did any of the decorations or anything. And I love that double-sided Scotch tape. I have used a lot of things in my bullet journal. I have tried all sorts of fancy this, fancy that. This is my 4th year bullet journaling. Like I've been at this for a while. And that Scotch double-sided tape, it's the best. I found a little tiny bit of craft paper. I thought I was out of craft paper, and I was very excited to find that I had just a little bit left. So I ripped just a little piece to go on the bottom, cut out some bullet journal off like a pad so that I have something to write on. Yes, it is a little bit silly to, you know, put the blue down and then put more bullet journal pages on top, but you know, I can do what I want. So here we are doing what I want. And so that's where I'm going to write actual, you know, like important things here. Up at the top, I'm writing December with, these are Sharpie metallic paint brushes. Man, I love these things. They are so fun. They came in a pack with like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of them. The gold is definitely my favorite, but they also have silver. There's like a metallic purple and green and red, which would have been really pretty for December, but this is, I love. So I did kind of like a calligraphy style on the top, and then this focus is a little more like my normal cursive, so it's just a little bit less emphasized, and that's where I'm going to write the main things that I need to get done for the month of December. I like to have kind of like a focus page, so that way I know where I need to, you know, put my focus. although sometimes I tend to ignore it. So, it just depends on what's going on. Then we're adding some stars and some things. I probably should have done that before I put all the paper down, because I did get some spots on my white paper, but honestly, I wanted to know where that December was going before I put any stars down. So here we are. At this point, I actually left for a couple hours and I went and did a workout. I went and ran some errands, took a shower, and came back. So that's why I now have a sweatshirt on that I did not have in the previous scene. But it gave ample amount of time for this page to dry. And so I'm just taping it in here. And then I'm kind of out of frame. Sorry, I can't see what's actually on the frame when I'm filming like this. But trying to add that craft paper like across the midline so it makes them more connected. And here's how it turned out. I love it. It just seems so sweet and so the true meaning for Christmas. Now, flipping over to the next page, you can see I have those sticky notes on there. I just did that as like a planning thing, so I put like what each page was going to be, and then on some of them I drew a couple things because I was just trying to figure out, like what we were doing. And for this page, I decided to tape in the paper first and then do the decorations, so I kind of alternated back and forth, which ended up working out because it gave things plenty of time to dry before I could have like one drying while I was on the other one without having to close the book. And we're starting the same way I had the other ones, with just the stars and the dots and things like that. And this page is going to be the calendar on the left side, and then on the right side I'm going to put my weekly plans. So how I like to plan is I have my like focus for the month, and then I break that down into action items that go week by week. So each week I have tasks that I try to accomplish during that week, and so those are the things that are going to go there on the right side. Now down here at the bottom, I wanted to add a little village, just kind of, reminiscent of Bethlehem. So we have like the stars in the sky and the little buildings down there, but I didn't want anything fancy. Also, I don't know what Bethlehem looked like, in the 0 AD. And so I just took some black paint and I'm just kind of making shapes, house-ish shapes. So some rectangles, some hexagons, some round, just kind of a variety to just kind of give the impression of an outline of a city. Even if you are not, doing the Christian version of this is something you could do that would, just emphasize anything. You could put like a little Santa Claus going across the top, would be really cute, with like the reindeer in the sleigh, would be really fun. But this is how, I wanted to do it. So I really didn't have any rhyme or reason to how I was doing this, and it did not take very long. I know this looks like it might have taken a long time for this whole setup, but I think the whole thing only took me like maybe an hour and a half, probably. It was like an hour and 15 or an hour and a half. I remember looking at it when I put all the footage in here, and I was like, oh, look, that was not even 2 hours, which I feel like is pretty good. So it is more than, you need to do, but I personally just really enjoy having once a month where I know for sure I get to do some kind of art. So now I'm taking that Primrosia marker. This is the green one. I just think this is like the prettiest shade of green. And I'm writing some of the lyrics of O Little Town of Bethlehem. So on the left side I wrote O Little Town of Bethlehem. And then on the right side I skipped a couple of lines because I really wanted this line. In thy dark streets shineth the everlasting light. So those don't go next to each other in the song, but that's how I wanted to do it. So here we are. I really love these paint pens. Now, I'm using these little calendars I got from maybe from Erin Condren at the beginning of the year, and they're like sticky, and it just saves me some drawing time. They have 6 weeks on them because sometimes the way the days fall, you end up with 6 weeks in 1 month. And so I just cut the bottom one off so that I would have more space. And that's all that I'm really doing on that left side. The right side, I'm trying to decide how I wanted to do my weeks. So originally I was going to use those little tiny pieces of paper I got from Michael's. I love that little pad. It's just really, really easy. But I just couldn't figure out a color that worked well. So I tried the green and I tried the yellow. and nothing was just quite right, so I decided to just go with white. So I'm cutting down a piece of bullet journal. I have like a little pad of bullet journal paper from Archer and Olive, and I'm just cutting it down. Also, if you don't have one of these little cutters, like, you need one. This is actually not my favorite one. I have a different one that's the guillotine style, where it's like overhead. It's the best. I will link it down below. And so now I'm just taping down these little boxes. So I have one for each week of December, and that way, again, I can just put in like the important things that I need to get done each week. Fully honest, December I don't usually get as much done as other times because there is a lot of Christmasing. We're going to be out of town. We have shows to see. I'm a music teacher, so I've got concerts out the wazoo, which means rehearsals out the wazoo. So I've got a lot going on this month, which means I won't be doing as much, like, you know, side hustly, businessy kind of things. But I still do need to keep track of what needs to happen because there are still things that need to happen. So that's where I'm putting things down in there, and then that goes to like my daily list, which I just put in a notebook. Now, I'm a person who starts my weeks on Sunday because I tried the Monday start thing, and my brain just cannot fathom it. I get so confused, and so I just start my weeks on Sundays regardless of what it says at the top, and sometimes I just leave it, and so it'll like have the wrong days at the top versus the dates that I have written in, but that doesn't bother me. And sometimes I just cross out the days at the top because I just cannot understand a week that starts on a Monday. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, Wednesday is that one in the middle, okay? It is what it is. So I wrote the dates, and I like to do the dates of other months in a different color so I can just kind of see really easily where, you know, the next month starts. And can we believe this is the last month of the year? Seems crazy. Here's how these two pages turned out. I love them. I think they're pretty simple. They're not difficult to make, but they have a really fun, you know, visual aspect to them. That's gonna dry while I get started on this next one, which is a little bit more Christmassy because we're gonna be drawing a Christmas tree after I draw some stars, because we need the stars on every page, because you know what? That's how you make a theme. If you want your pages to go together, you need to have repeating elements, and so in this case it is dark blue paper and stars all over. So I didn't do a ton of them this time because I knew I was gonna have the Christmas tree right down the middle for these pages. So I just grabbed two different greens and my fan brush. That one's really cheap. It's really old also, and I am just getting in there with not a lot of water and kind of doing like layers. So I just do short little brush strokes, like kind of at an angle, to the left on the left side and to the right on the right side, and then on the next one I kind of have it go over, so it's almost like the branches are going over, and I kind of alternated the colors a little bit just so that you had a little bit of variation. This is not like the most amazing way to draw a tree, but again, we're going for simple, we're going for easy, and I'm okay with that. So I feel like I keep talking about how easy this is because I just want you to know, like, you can totally do this. It's not difficult, it's not hard. If you smudge your star paint, it's okay. Like, the world's not gonna end, it's all right. And it has a really big effect. I feel like, especially with that dark blue paper, it just makes it really big. Here at the bottom, you see I used way too much water, and so that's how it got really wonky, but it dried and it looked fine, so I'm not worried about it. Now with my Primrosio markers, again, I am writing some of the lyrics to "Oh Christmas Tree." So I wrote "O Tannenbaum, O Tannenbaum," and again I skipped to the end of the line for the next line because, you know, I just had some things that I really liked, and I think I also combined two different verses together. I know a lot of verses to this song, but I think I put some together. So I ended up kind of merging a few verses together, and I've got "O Tannenbaum, we learn from all your beauty. Your festive leaves give hope and strength throughout the year." So you can hear it doesn't rhyme. I mixed a bunch of things together, but that's what I ended up with, and that is fine. This page is going to be kind of like a Christmas planning, so I'm going to have on the left side here is going to be like a bucket list, essentially, of just things I want to do. I normally have a Christmas movies list, and I'm not doing that this year because frankly I'm gonna watch all the Christmas movies whether I write it down or not. So instead I'm just doing more of like a bucket list of some things that I want to do. So I am just writing those again with these paint pens, and I've got, at the end I'll have paint ornaments, find a new wrapping technique. I try to find a new way to wrap presents every year because I just think it's fun, because then every year I get, a little bit better. Movie and hot chocolate night, go see Christmas lights, go to the Journey, which is a thing we have at a church over by here where they like reenact the whole manger. It's like super immersive. They have like camels and everything. It's crazy. So we have tickets to that. Go see a Christmas musical. And go see the Nutcracker. I kind of cheated because I already have tickets for all those things, so I know I'm gonna do them. Paint something festive, bake a new type of cookies, because I also try to bake new cookies every year, and do a DIY project because let's just have some fun. So I try to keep it really simple because again, I know that December is my busy month. I don't want to be stressed while I'm going through this, but I want to have some fun holiday situations. Now here on the right, I wanted somewhere where I could put gift ideas, and I was struggling, y'all, trying to figure out where to put things. So I was trying to do like a little box for each of the people, and so that's why you saw I grabbed my phone, because I was looking up at my online list of all the people we need to buy gifts for, which I'm happy to say as of recording this, I've got at least half my people like set in stone, ready to go. I still need a few gifts. Specifically, I need something for my mom. So if you have mom suggestions, let me know. I always want to get her something really good because she just does so much for everybody. So let me know your suggestions down below. Here I'm trying to figure it out, and then I'm realizing that I can't fit all of these people here with these little things. So I was like, oh no, I probably needed a full spread for just this, or not having a giant Christmas tree in the middle. So I'm going back to the drawing board and switching up instead. Grabbed more of these. I know it's unnecessary to have this little pad of paper because I could just have bigger pieces of paper and cut them, but it's really convenient to have these little pieces of paper. So I ended up just grabbing 4 and cutting them, and I wanted them to be like little gift boxes, like little presents basically. And so I'm taping them down, and I just taped the top so I could actually flip them up and write underneath it, which is really good because I was writing things down this week and you needed the top and underneath the top. So I just kind of glued those down or taped them down with just the top part and added little bows with my little green paint pen. And then I labeled each one. So I did family, like my family for one box, in-laws, so husband's family for the other one, husband, and then other down at the bottom because I have like a secret Santa and I might want to get a gift for, some of my friends or things like that. So just other down at the end. And then I was like, it's not the best, but you know what? It's done. It's fine. It's fine. I really don't like the way I laid out those boxes, but it's okay. It's gonna do the purpose. All right, moving on. You can see we are at the very end of the bullet journal because there I was testing out new markers, 12 months ago. And so that's why it looks a little funky, because I've truly used every single page, or at least I will have used all of these pages by the time we get to the end of this month. So as usual, I am putting down the navy blue, and for these 2 pages, I'm just leaving them pretty much blank because I wanted just planning pages. We host husband's family for Christmas. It's a lot of people, so there's a lot of moving parts of things I need to get done. I have a Christmas program at the church that I need to get ready and just all sorts of things, and my camera accidentally cut out, but honestly it wasn't very impressive, so it was fine anyway. So here are the final looks of each of the pages. I love the way it turns out. It just makes me so happy, and I hope you love it as well. You can definitely adapt it to be a little bit different if this isn't quite your vibe. And if you did like this and you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I have a bullet journal flip through and next year's bullet journal setup coming soon. So I can't wait to see you. Hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button. You can see we went all the way to the end. Here's our final flip through. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.